Peter, it was very sad because helicopters were bringing in all the wounded from there and putting them into the hospital in Srinagar. And
Srinagar.
because her father was a sub-area commander, and like I was his wife, so the social part of it was more or less my responsibility to some extent. So the Maharani, Karan Singh's wife, she called me up one day and said, Mr. Dyer, would you please come with us? We want to go to the military hospital to see the wounded, and I'd like to give them some little gifts. So I said, okay, we decided to go along together, and she came. Of course, her husband didn't come to these things. It was the women.
Yes.
So she came, and her sister or her cousin or somebody or other who was a princess in Nepal, and so many of these people came along. So there was press, and there it was very cold, and there were these Bukharis burning, and the press had to dodge in between the wounded and the Bukharis, and whether they would take a step back and they could fall on top of the Bukhari. Do you know what a Bukhari is?
Is it a stove?
It's like a salamander.
Oh, right, yes.
But they were very big ones, and they had coal burning inside, and then they had that pipe which took the smoke out.
Yes.
So, but they were really big because they had to warm this great big hospital, and there were many wards, and there were some very, 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 very sad and disturbing sights in there. But the Maharani pressed on, and I had to be walking along with her. And she went from bed to bed, and she asked these people, I suppose she must have been feeling a little awkward because it was something new for her. And she was saying that, Jawan, Jakhmi kaha mila? Meaning, where were you wounded? So this chap would say that he was wounded in the chest, or he was, obviously there was a man whose jaw had been shot off, and she didn't have to ask him. So, but what stupid gifts. She gave them a vest and a torch. Each one was given a vest and a torch after she had talked very, very kindly to them, kind words and all that, and she gave the vest and the torch, and she moved on, like this thing went on and on. Then we went upstairs, and there was the matron of the hospital. So matron of the hospital, we came to a door. Now this is the officer's ward. And she came to the door, and she knocked on the door, and the door opened, and she went in. And a man sat up in bed. He was a group captain. He sat up in bed, and all the women entered, and they all stared at him. Yes, and I think Maharani was a bit shocked as to how would she give him a torch and a vest. But whatever, she played her role very well. And she went up to him, and she asked him in English that group captain, the matron was sort of prompting her. He's a group captain. Oh, group captain, and where were you wounded? And the group captain's mouth just opened and no sound came out, and his eyes stared like that. And the matron came up and said very softly, he's a piles case.